Welcome back for another episode of Two
Two
Minds,
minds, no limits.
with Merritt and Brenna. Sorry we missed you last week. I was not feeling very good, but here we are, and we are finally getting back to it. So we want to start off this week's episode by introducing you guys to something that um, I learned as a kid, and I do it with my kids, and I've really taught it to anybody that I meet. And it's called high point, low point. It's something that we do around the dinner table, and we do it daily for the most part. And we talk about what was the high of our day and what was the low of our day. So we just wanted to introduce that concept to you. I love it. It really brings some really good conversation. Um, and if you know me and you've been around me, you probably know what this is because I've introduced you to it. So we're going to kick it off and let Merritt start by telling us her high point and her low point of this last week.
Okay, so this last week, I would say I'm going to start out with my low point, and that was this cough I had and having to go to the doctor for it. And there was no answer for it but medicine. And it's been like 3 weeks.
That you've had it.
Yeah, tomorrow's 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's just like lingering.
Yeah, it won't go away. It actually has gotten better though since I got the medicine. And then my high point.
I feel like we needed some background that music with the dead sound.
Play the crickets.
Yeah.
Then my high point for the week was at work we had a chili day for Halloween. It was nice. Everybody dressed up. I was Wednesday. The dogs dressed up, and people made some homemade chili.
You can never go wrong with chili.
No, we had a white chili. We had a smoked brisket chili.
And I'm really sorry because I'm feeding you chili again today.
And before that, last Monday, I made chili myself.
I have it in the crock pot, chicken chili.
I've had about chili 4 times. And then
can't go wrong.
No, and cornbread and all the fixings. So it was a good week. How about yours?
I like to start out with my high point, and I would say not really my high point, but something very exciting is Lexi's 16, and she got her first job interview scheduled this week. So it's this coming Tuesday, and that was just like a very weird thing.
Yeah.
Like very exciting for her, but it was just like, whoa, I'm gonna have like a working child in a matter of time.
Yeah.
And now she can start financing me because, yeah, she's getting ready to get cut off. I'm just kidding. My low point is, I would say I've also been battling a sickness. I felt it trying to come on Monday, Tuesday of last week, and I was like, I'm gonna take Dayquil and try to like beat it, and it did work. And it creeped up on me, and I remember Friday morning I woke up just like down for the count.
Yeah.
I am feeling better today, but it just really sucks.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's just get right into it. You want to kick us off, or?
Today's topic is love languages.
Ooh.
All the fun stuff. And going over the 5 love languages. Figuring out how we identified our love languages, how they differ in relationships, friendships, family, and learning other people's languages. Yeah.
So if you don't know, you're going to know now. But if you've never heard of this before, you can actually go to the website. I believe it's 5lovelanguages.com. There is a book. I never read the book, but there's a quiz you can take online. It is free, and it takes probably 5, not even 10 minutes. But it asks you questions, and it helps you identify what your love languages are. And I would say to know them is important because it's a way, just like understanding what our communication style is, just like we need to understand how other people communicate. Love languages is a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's what it is ultimately, or what are the things that um, people do for us that make us feel loved, because it differs
Right.
on people. Do you want to get into it first, as far as how you what you identified yours to be?
Yeah. So I would say my number one is gonna be quality
Why? Tell us.
time. I don't know, because I think everybody's busy in life, and well, wait, hold up, rewind that back. So
We need the sound effects. I want to figure out how to do that.
because I don't know, because mine are different. No. I would say overall mine is quality time. Like I love spending time with family, friends, my person. Um, so, but why? So I think everybody's busy. Everybody has agendas. Everybody's got things going on. So to take that time away, it's like I'm
Yeah.
dedicating this time to you.
Yeah.
And it's quality, like filling it with joy.
Yep.
My second, uh, wait.
Because there's five, but I feel like oh wait, time out. We got to go back. They need to know what they are,
Oh yeah,
just in case they don't know what they are. Some people, most people will probably know
yeah,
what we're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about, but
So you have quality. Okay, so you have quality time, acts of service, words of affirmations, gift giving, and physical touch. But for me, mine differ for person to person.
okay,
Like in a relationship, physical touch is going to come second.
like a romantic relationship.
Yeah,
Okay, so you have quality time first, physical touch second.
yeah,
Okay,
I would say that. Because in friendships,
don't touch me.
I don't know why. I know like Kayla will always be like, Merritt's not. I'm like we hug when we say bye, but other than that.
Yeah,
But it's like with Dean, I'm like always touchy.
yeah,
Like we were just talking about it. Like when it's hot at night and we don't like want to cuddle, we walk our legs and our feet together.
oh my god.
It's like we have to touch each other somehow,
Mhm.
or I'll put my hand on his back or something, or on his arm.
Yeah.
It's like I have to touch him. Gift giving. I'm a I'm a giver. I don't care to receive gifts,
Yeah.
but I love giving gifts, like thoughtful gifts.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
You love that.
And that's just an overall acts of service, and then words of affirmations.
So mine are, when it comes to a romantic relationship, mine also differ depending on the relationship. So when it comes to a romantic relationship, physical touch is number one. If you're not touching me, you don't like me and you don't love me. So
It's
it's
like just say you hate me.
exactly. Um, so that right there, that act is reassuring to me of, we're good.
Yeah.
And you love me and you take care of me.
Yeah.
So that's like number one. And then I would say number two is quality time. I don't really care too much for gifts. I'm thankful for them when I get them, but it's not anything like, honestly, it's like an awkward thing for me.
Yeah.
Um,
To get them.
to get them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how to explain it, but it is. But I always
So I feel like
appreciate
it's
them.
pressure of like if you don't react
Mhm.
the way people want you to react,
Yeah.
then it's like, do they not think I like it?
Yeah.
Or
But
I see what you're saying.
not only that, like materialistic things do not come at a high value to me, or of a significant importance.
Yeah.
Where me, quality time, we can go out and we can do something, or we can literally be in pajamas and look homeless and lay on the couch.
Yeah.
And I am happy. Just brush your teeth, and I'll brush mine. Then when it comes to my kids, I would say quality time is number one.
Mhm.
And like when they want to spend time with me, and I think that's because they're getting bigger.
Yeah.
Is when they spend quality time with me, that makes me feel loved. And when they do acts of service. Like when I come home and they have cleaned the kitchen for me, I'm just like, y'all love me. Y'all love me so much. Because now I can cook dinner. They've taken out the trash. So those type of things. It's like
just the little things to make.
they thought about me.
Yeah. And it's the thought, and then it's also just to make your day just a little easier.
It makes it big easier.
Like, my thing is, so when I leave for work, and Bean leaves out, if he leaves after me,
yeah.
So he'll just stay. He makes my bed and opens my blinds.
The blinds?
Opens my blinds and makes my bed. And it's like, at his house, he doesn't make his bed.
So he does it because he knows
because it's my
makes
thing.
you happy.
Yeah. Like if I come home and my bed's not made, it's like I feel like my whole house is dirty, like unorganized.
Yeah.
It's just like it's nice to just get into a made bed.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't think he ever makes his bed. I've never seen it made. Maybe one time I've seen it made.
Yeah. And so that part.
So it's like an act of service, like
yeah.
Or something else, like if I'm at home and he's heading over, and I'm cooking or doing something, and he'll text me and like, do you need me to grab you anything? Or before I get off work, he's like, do you need anything from the grocery store?
Yeah.
So you don't have to go to the grocery store. And I'm like, and then I tell him no, and then as I'm cooking, I have to send him to the store.
Yeah.
The other day when I made chili, I thought I had the right beans and I didn't. And then I didn't have the right tomatoes either. And then there's something else I needed, and I'm calling him like, are you still there? And he's like, no, I'm on my way. Yeah. And I was like, okay, it's okay. He's like, what do you need? I need diced tomatoes. I actually get fresh tomatoes.
Yeah.
So I went the same way.
I think that's the part though, is being able to communicate somebody else's love language when it's not our own.
Mm-hmm.
So for like the example you gave, he doesn't make his own bed. It has no significance to him. He doesn't open his own blinds, but he knows the significance it holds for you.
Yeah.
So he
opens the blinds. It's when I leave for work, I out of habit open the blinds.
Yeah.
But when he's still sleeping, I feel like it brings too much. I like to sleep in the dark. So it's when the blinds get open, I'm like, it's too much light. So like for me, I'm like, oh, I'll leave them closed, and then I come home and it's open.
Yeah. But I think sometimes like because it's not our style, it's not how we are.
Right.
We don't want to be intentional to do it for somebody else because it's not our way. But it's so important to, like, I don't know. I mean, a big thing for me is physical touch. Okay, well, if you want to be with me and you're not a physical person, you better learn how to be a physical person when you're with me.
Yeah, because that's how you receive love.
Yeah. And so I think it's of importance. So when I meet people, it's probably one of the upfront things that I ask. What are your love languages? Oh, okay, right. You don't know what they are? Let me explain this to you.
Let's get up.
Yeah.
You're about to take the test right now.
Yeah. Well, I help them I help with the understanding of what it is so that they're like, oh, okay. I mean, because it's pretty easy to figure out. Like, what are the things that people do for you that ultimately make you feel loved? And it's like, okay, what are the top two? And so it just starts off a conversation, like, of something that's kind of in depth and not just surface. But who are you? What makes you feel loved? Because it helps me understand I'm not a big gift giver. I'm not strong in that area. But if that's number one or number two for them, I'm off top going to be aware of, like, okay, I'm going to have to put extra effort into this and learn how it to be my thing. Because it's what makes this person feel loved.
Yeah.
But if you don't know your love languages, you should take the test. And if you have not asked your partner what it is, you guys should talk about it.
Yeah.
and just be able to understand each other on that level.
Would you say with your kids that they have different?
Yeah, physical touch is definitely not in Lexi's top two. It is in my son. My son is very affectionate, very hands-on. Um, he is that way, and he loves to receive that.
Mhm.
Probably not from everybody, but he does love when I like hug him.
Yeah.
And I'm physical with him. And Lexi, it's uncomfortable for her.
Yeah.
I would say, um, Papa's is physical touch is number one, and let's see, acts, gifts. Probably gifts is number two. He loves kinship.
Yeah.
With Lexi, I would say words of affirmation. Words of affirmation is Lexi's number one, and quality time is her number two, and yeah.
That sounds right. It's funny how people are just different.
Very different.
And then,
And I just want to say, like,
but it's like different because, well, I feel like there's a difference between receiving your love languages and how you naturally give out.
way to explain it.
Because, like, I love to give thoughtful gifts.
Yeah, you're so good at that. I think I talked about that on another episode.
But I could care less. You know what I
Wait,
mean?
say that up.
Like, I don't, like, it's not something that I'm dying that I need.
Right.
Like, I don't need it.
Yeah.
It's not probably, like, my bottom. Out of the 5, like, for me to get that would be my last.
Yeah, that's my last two.
But for me to give, it'd be upper. About like 3.
Have you?
Because in like physical touch, I guess there's only one person. Like,
yeah, it's physical touch is usually like the person that you're in a romantic relationship with, if it's one of your top.
But it's like hugs or like I see some people are like that. Some friendships though, like physical.
Yeah.
Like holding hands and stuff like that. And
I'm like the loopy arm, like.
Yeah. I can see that.
I feel like I'm a physical friend. Like I'm up in everybody's business and hugging, and
I would say you're more physical than me. Like as a friendship.
Yeah.
To me, it's like my body.
Okay, so let's talk about this. We've never talked about this before, but this just came across my brain, and I want to see what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
How important, or do you think it's important, that in a romantic relationship that your top two love languages align? Okay, so yours are quality time and physical touch?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
that theirs are as well.
Right, because what if...
I think it makes it hard, and there's going to have to be, like, patience.
Because listen, what if that person's love languages... I think I'm getting confused. Because I'm thinking about, you love gift giving.
Mm-hmm.
It's something like you ooze over. But what if it is not? What if it's number 5 for that person? It's at the bottom of their list.
Yeah. Because that's reality for me.
It is.
That's my reality. Is I love giving gifts and doing things.
Yeah.
But he does not. Every time I bring up getting him something, he's like, don't. You don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, he just had a birthday, and he said he didn't want anything. And he gave me shit about not getting him anything. But the reaction that I got was like, okay, like you enjoy those things.
Yeah.
Like he enjoyed having those things that I did.
Right.
And it wasn't like materialistic. Some of it was just like some stuff, but it wasn't nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But then there was like thoughtfulness put into it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, like you do receive them. I think
Yeah.
I think it's just like you were saying, like it's an awkward. Like what if you don't respond
Yeah.
the way?
Yeah. So then.
But I do have to learn to tone it down.
Yeah. It just reminded me of that book that you read about Will Smith and Jada.
Yeah.
And there's a part, she told me about this part of this book, and this was a couple years ago, but Will Smith went all out and did some crazy, thoughtful, big birthday shenanigans for Jada.
Mhm.
And she doesn't like that. And so she was actually very upset of the surprise that he had put together that involved like it was like a surprise from family.
Yeah, it was like her 50th birthday, and she didn't want to do anything, but they like flew friends and family out, and
Well, he did secretly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like hired her favorite artist, and they did like a paint day. Some other stuff that they did, and the last one was like he made this whole documentary without her knowing, and with nobody knowing, and it went back to like her grandma, who she was really close with, passed, and he got like some footage that she'd never heard of her grandma speaking of Jada.
Oh my god, that gives me goosebumps.
And he put it into the documentary, and then like went back to her her ancestors, like slave owners.
Wow.
Like, he went back and found out who they were, found out who the family was, and obviously it was like the grandkids or something now, and interviewed them and all these things and for her, and he made it into this documentary, and he played it for everybody and for her.
And she was mad.
And she like, and he said in the book, he was like, I just kept looking at her face, like I just wanted to get that like reaction from her. And he's like, she was just stone cold, like staring. And then after they got into a big fight, and
she didn't want any of that.
She was like, this really was just to feed your ego. Like, cancel everything else for this party, like this whole thing. Like, none of this is what I wanted. And so then Brenna brought that up to me, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Because she's a gift giver. And so Fiend is not that way. And so he actually gets very uncomfortable when all this is done. But that's something Merritt thrives over. But then that brings me to the place of our love languages and how what we need to feel loved on the receiving end are very different than how our love languages output.
Right.
So that's important to be able to know, and then that way you can have a conversation when you're with somebody in any relationship, because it's not really just romantic. That way you can have clear communication. Again, we go back to communication,
right?
To make sure people that we're involved with in any element of our lives understand this is how I give love, but this is what it means to me to feel loved.
Yeah.
So we've identified what our love languages are on the receiving end, and we've identified one of yours on outgoing. But what would you say are your top two on how you show love?
How I show love?
Yes.
I'm going to say quality time and gift giving. That's how I show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those are my top two.
And I say on mine, when it comes to a romantic relationship.
Oh, romantic?
Yeah.
Oh, quality and physical.
Gifts aren't in that?
What?
I feel like gifts are in your top two.
In my top two?
Yeah.
In a romantic?
Yeah? No?
No, I'd say quality and physical. Like, I feel like I always have to touch him.
Okay.
And it's just weird. I don't know. Like,
Maybe.
sometimes he'll be eating,
Yeah.
and I just walk up and I go, and he already knows. When I walk up to him and he's eating, I want to kiss his cheek.
Oh my God.
It's like, he'll be eating or anything. And I'll just, like,
That
kiss
is
his
so
cheek.
funny.
But he already knows. And then quality time is just, I think, with work and just life
Yeah.
and everything going on, that's going to be my top for anybody.
Yeah.
Because it's like, for you, it's like, you're not as close. You
Yeah.
don't live as close, so it's quality time.
Yeah.
And then I think that's with anybody for me. But I'd say gift giving would probably be my third.
Okay. I
Yeah.
know it's up there because
It's up there. And then I'd say like acts of service or affection.
my top two on showing love is in a romantic relationship. I would say physical touch and words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Like I love just being able to. I'm just a very physical person.
Yeah.
And but I love to make sure like a person is very secure when they're involved with me. Like there is no question about where they stand.
Right.
Because I physically express it and I verbally express it to them. But I would say those are my top two.
Yeah.
When was the last time you've taken the test?
You know what? Maybe a couple years ago. I'd say.
Same for me.
I wonder if it changes.
I was just thinking that. For me, I don't think so. I think no, that wouldn't be appropriate to say. I was gonna I was gonna say
it. There's no limit.
You're right. I was gonna say. I mean, it depends on the person, but that's not what I mean. What I meant, or what I was thinking was, it depends on the person and how I feel about the person. But if it's negative, how I feel about the person, really, it's just a matter of time before they're not in my life anymore. But when it's good,
Yeah.
and it's something healthy,
Yeah.
those that I explain are my love languages.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, do they change? But I would say quality time's always been my for the longest. I think ever since I've heard about it. Quality time's been my top.
I remember when I heard about love languages, I think it honestly was like in a church setting or something like that. But I was so amazed because it actually, I was younger. This was years ago, and it helped me just learn about myself and like put words to something I never was able to. And then it just became a conversation when I would date people. And there was one person that like actually took the test.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like I love just having that type of communication and understanding.
Have you ever, I know the answer to this, but had a relationship where they struggled with your
Oh my God. It was physical touch.
Yeah.
So, and this is what like I was just talking about is for me in a romantic relationship to feel love, physical touch is my number one. If you're not touching me, then I literally feel like you left me on a deserted island. And for them, it was at the bottom of their output of how they showed love. And so it was awful because they didn't even desire to try to put in the effort because they knew of such importance it held for me and what it did for me, which is why I think it's so important that we have that conversation. But that was a big struggle, and it often became a frustration because I'm communicating it to you. I am telling you, if you are not showing me love in this way,
right,
I don't feel love. And so then it's just a matter of if that's not in that person's strength of showing, if they don't want to put the effort and the energy into doing that for you, like, yes, it honestly is going to be a fight.
Yeah.
Which is why I think if you are in a romantic relationship, you need to have this conversation, especially if shit's bumpy for you right now.
Yeah.
Like, sit down and have a conversation. How do you show love and how do you receive love, and talk about it? Because honestly, it may be that you haven't communicated about it, you haven't talked about it, and that may be the problem that you're really having.
Right.
Not me over here acting like a therapist. Oh my God.
No, it's hard.
Kayla actually told me the other day, she's like, you really need to go to school because you need to be a therapist. You're just really good at talking.
You should.
And I'm like, I over here give all this advice. I just,
Full of wisdom.
one day I'm going to have my little honey. And it's going to be good. And the right one comes along. My little honey.
Yeah. No, it's hard when your love languages don't meet and they don't put out the effort of trying to show you yours.
It's detrimental.
Yeah.
It will never work if you don't put the effort into communicating your partner's love language.
Yeah.
Never.
As when I had physical touch, physical touch isn't so much like. No, never mind.
Oh, well, actually, I will say, to clear and make things crystal clear, physical touch does not mean sex.
Yeah.
Physical touch does not mean intimacy of that. Physical touch is just touching
holding hands or like walking and putting I guess if you're out in public that people would know you're together.
Yeah.
That's because I was like, there was a relationship once where there was no. If we were out in public, people always thought we were like brother and sister. It's like, you didn't hold my hand.
So when I dated, what's his face? The one I did cop costumes with.
Yeah.
He would do this thing. He'd go like this to my hand with his hand, and it made me feel so good inside. It was just physical.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know.
It's little things.
It is. It's a kiss on the forehead.
Kiss on the forehead, like your hand on the small of my back.
Yeah.
Like, come by and just hug me or kiss. Yeah. Kiss forehead. So it's just those little things. It's not like I'm asking you to
bring me the moon.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. But I'm just kidding. All right. Well, if you haven't taken the quiz, I really recommend you to do it. And
tell us what you got.
Yeah.
Tell us your top 2.
Yes. And we'll even put a post on our Instagram of did you take your love language test?
I'll link it for you.
And what did you discover? And hopefully you got something from this. But also, I will say again, if you haven't had that conversation with your romantic partner, you should. Yeah. Highly encourage that.
Yes. It's beneficial.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to hit on?
No.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
And we'll be back on Monday, we promise.
And sadly, Bowie behaved today.
Yeah,
he's just sitting here sleeping.
Since I got here. He
Yeah.
did claw me in my legs after.
Yeah. But he's well behaved today.
Brenna even did a whole different setup, so he didn't get it.
I know. I was like, I'm not running the courses. I don't even remember what I was saying, but we will see you guys next week. Sorry we missed you guys last week, but take the test. Let us know what you got. And also, what was I saying? Let us know what you got. Oh, and let us know if you got any key takeaways from today's episode. We want to hear more from you guys. We want to interact.
Yeah. Get your input. Tell us your top 2.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. We'll be back next week.
Yeah. We're out of here. Have a great week. And, oh, sorry, one last
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Do high point, low point with your kids, with your partner, roll it out. Some people are going to roll their eyes, but honestly, it's a really good conversation.
And what
opener.
I'm gonna do is, okay, so we record Sundays. I'm going to on Fridays
Mhm.
put out what people's high point, low points are.
What do you mean?
So like on the page,
The
on
Instagram?
Instagram,
Okay.
I'm gonna put like tell me your high point, low points,
Oh, and then we
and
share.
we will share them on here.
Hey.
So I'll do those on Fridays.
Yeah, my kids love to play it. All their kids, their kids, what? All their friends when they come over, I make them play it. I played it with Merritt. Honestly, it's just a really cool tradition.
Yeah.
I learned it from my aunt growing up.
That's cool.
Okay, have a great week, and we'll catch you
Bye.
on the flip side.
See ya.
Bye.